DV Cellos. Tonight we are talking about the Brandenburg Concerto, and we are specifically looking at measure 28. So in class we talked about how in measure 28 we have that G sharp, and we can do that, we can extend, right? There we go. I can extend out, right? But that's pretty stretchy. It's a little bit awkward. So what we decided to do is we're going to shift up to our second tape with our second finger. So you have first tape, second tape. We're going to take our second finger and go right there, okay, on the second tape. And then that G sharp is not that hard, right, because our first finger is up here now, okay? So if we're looking at one measure before, measure 27, here we go. So we got, during that open A, as I play that open A, I'm going to move my hand up, right? I'm going to move up to that second tape with my second finger, and then I have my G sharp. It was on the wrong string, sorry. And then back home to first position. We're going to go back. Notice my thumb was in the wrong place. All my cello students can call me out on that. I had violin thumb instead of cello thumb. Okay, so let me walk you through one more time. So we're at measure 27. So we do our regular fingering. And then during this open A, I'm going to move up, put my 2 on my second tape, and then my 4. So now I'm ready for my G sharp. Okay, now if you look at your score, your cello part, you have 4-2. You'll see a 1 with a dash. That's because they're telling you, okay, move back. So you move back with your 1 for the E, right? Okay, so if you look at the next measure, measure 29, you also have a G sharp. I'm turning the page. And that is exactly the same thing again, right? It's the same thing. So in measure 29, you're starting in your first position, your regular position. So I'm on my C. During my open A, I'm going to move my 2 to my second tape, and then I can get my G sharp. Right? Same idea. Back to first position on the E. Okay? I just want you to know that I'm playing off of the conductor score here. I don't have your cello part in front of me, so my page turns are, as you know, much more constant. So let me just play for you measure 27. I'll try to play to measure 30 and use my memory, just so you can see that shifting happening, okay? So again, we're measure 27. We're in first position. Get my cello thumb in the right spot. Shifting. Here's my high 4. Back home to first. First position being the one you originally played with, right? Back to our D. Again, shifting up. My G sharp. All right, and that is our solution for getting up to that high G sharp. Okay, and it's only sharp if you see that sharp sign next to the G. Okay, just something to note. I know it's not G sharp all the time because of my key signature, which is the tic-tac-toe, sometimes flat signs, sometimes natural signs. In this case, it's the hashtag tic-tac-toe, the sharps. If you look at your key signature, the start of every single line, you have your bass clef, and then you have an F sharp and a C sharp. So there's no G sharp. So Bach has written these G sharps only in that measure. They last until the end of the measure unless he writes it again. So if you look at measure 28, you have a G sharp at the beginning, and then it goes away until he writes it again. So measure 29, he writes it a G sharp. If we turn the page, I have to turn the page on my score. If you look ahead, measure 31, same thing, G sharp. Okay, let me play you actually just to make sure there's anything. Yeah, it's the same thing. If you look at measure 31, it's the same idea as what we were talking about with the shift. So you're in first position. Did you see it? You can call me out on that when we go to school on Tuesday. My thumb's in the wrong spot. Cello thumb. All right, not violin thumb. So if I look at 30, did I say? Yeah, 31. We're in first. I'm going to use the open A to move my 2 up and then put my 4 down, my high 4. That's my G sharp. Back to first. So you do it 3 times or so, huh? Okay. Well, since we're here, on measure 32, if you look at measure 32, we've got the E, then you have an open D. I bet you can figure out what you're going to do next. If you look at that 4, guess what? It's the same thing. You're going to put your 2 on the second tape, but this time on the G string, because now we have to play a C sharp. And I know it's C sharp because of the key signature. It's C sharp. So if I'm on that G string, which I am, I got to play a C sharp. I got to play a high 4. But it's exactly the same thing you just did on the D string when we did the shift here and then went up. Okay? So to reiterate what I just said, looking at measure 32, you're in first position, right? You're on an E on the D. You're going to use the open D to put your 2 on the second tape on your G string and put your high 4. There we are. We're all ready for that G sharp now. I've lost my music. C sharp, C sharp. Then we go back to first. And then look at, you have a 2 on this one too at measure 33. That's because you're going to put your 2 on the second tape. C sharp again. And then this one, we're going to go back to a first finger. An A, first finger in first position. Okay? And then we're back to normal. Now we know how to do that. Okay? So again, when they've got that 2, that means that they want you to go replacing that second tape with your second finger. Just put your second finger on the second tape, and that way you can reach for that high 4. I hope that helps.